What's up, everybody? It is Wednesday morning, Weird Wednesday. I'm going to be going back to my usual schedule. So, as before, I do Weird Wednesday Unusual opening streams on the morning, Wednesday. Thursday will be subscriber stream. Friday's Blitz and Classical Chess in the morning. And usually Sundays will be a simul. But, hey, what's up, Soltigo? Good to see you. Gladys Troll, Arsenal fan. Arsenal fan was just talking about going to Hastings, and this is a very old traditional tournament. But I used to like it because there was like a pub right next to the playing hall, so you could like go in and get a pint of beer and then like take it out to your board, you know. And I remember playing like Luke McShane while I was drinking pints of beer. And he was so small that he couldn't like reach the board, so they had to prop him up on like a pillow or something. Anyways, the good old days. So we are playing anything between 5+3 and 7+3. I'm welcoming casual challenges. This is my second stream back. Of course, Troll and Roll is challenging me to Chess 960. Not the theme today. Yeah, Troll celebrates Festivus, but yeah, good stuff. Playing during the game. No, not before the game. During the game. That's the key thing there. Anyway, I'll play this Chess 960 for old time's sake against Troll and Rule, but the theme today is supposed to be unusual openings. I guess this is an unusual opening, but we're not doing Chess 960. This will be my one and only Chess 960 for today. Because Gladys Troll is a former subscriber, should I just play symmetrically here? My a7 pawn, h7 is protected. Alright. So, c4 is c5. I just can't stop myself from playing the symmetrical English. It's so solid, I just can't resist. But, you know, this position is not so crazy. I mean, the rook is on h8. We've got, what else? That's about the only thing related to normal chess. A knight, yeah, the knight can go to c6, which would look like normal chess. Troll puts his knight on b3, which, makes me want to play knight e6, honestly. It makes me want to go here to try to stop d4, but if I can't hold up d4, you know, I might regret putting my knight on e6. So, what else can we do? Good question. Can't play knight c6 as intended. That's a problem. The disadvantage of this situation. I could play symmetrically. I'd rather put my knight on c7, to be honest with you. Let's go d6 and give our queen some squares. This will make it possible to play knight c6 and maybe knight c7 later on, or bishop c7. Have to wait with this bishop. I guess there's an objection to playing this. I should have thought about b6, I guess. What I didn't like about b6, there was something. Number of things, like it weakens the white squares, but that probably was something I should have considered too. You had a recent tournament, Arsenal fan, where you beat some decent players. You beat a 174 and a 184. That's getting pretty serious now, getting close to 200. Alright, if you guys don't know the English grading system, I mean, a few points is a big deal, I guess, to put it lightly. So, I'm like 205, but I think I'm underrated. Though I'm not so sure after my last tournament. I'm a glorified FIDE master. That's my new title. What does that compare to? So Arsenal fan says 75. What? that times 75 plus 700. Too difficult to calculate. I was 211. Okay, I don't know why I thought I was 205. But I suck, basically. I'm in bad form. I lost like 15 ELO points the last 3 weeks. I'll be like 2365 or something, which is really embarrassing. Troll and roll, it's move 3. I think he must be disconnected or something. He says stuck. Maybe I should just abort the game. Because he says stuck. What does that mean, you're stuck? I can't abort the game. I can do a take back. Alright, if you can't move in the next minute or so, I'm just gonna like resign or something. Anyway, we're not supposed to be playing Chess 960 Troll and Roll. It's supposed to be unusual openings. Mubad is going off lately. Soltigo, I think we have to take a look at this. But I have it set so the excessive use of caps. No excessive use of caps. It's like banning everybody. Okay, now he moved. My bishop is blocked on b8. This I don't like. I don't understand what h3 is about. I'm just going to play this like a Botvinnik English. Maybe with like e5 and... I don't know, how is this piece going to come out? f5, e5, f5? Confronting my bishop on b8. This is really alien. This is just such a strange position. My bishop could come out here maybe to a7 and play a6 and b5. His brain doesn't work. He's stuck. I thought about playing for b5, you know, and giving myself the ability to put my bishop on a7. But I'm not sure about this. I mean, my white squares are pretty weak. Sorry. Like, this whole complex of white squares, his bishop were to, like, come to e4, for example. It's not like I have a fianchetto bishop coming to b7 or something. Structurally, it's good for me, but my development is lagging. He's already castled. All of his pieces are in the game. Now he just needs to, like, open the position up somehow, but how? Now, wait a minute. You know, it's tempting to play like f6, but it's not really that strong. He's threatening possibly d4. I have noted that Troll seems particularly strong in the opening stages of Chess 960. Guys, it's unusual openings today. I'm not supposed to be playing Chess 960, but we're just doing it for old time's sake. Troll and a Roll won't play anything else. Holiday cheer. Who sent that? Soltigo. Thank you, man. Holiday cheer from Soltigo. Merry Christmas. Thanks for being our moderator, by the way. And I wish you the best of health in the new year. Soltigo was not with us last night for the evening stream. I mean, I don't know why I'm insisting on putting my knight on c7 now. You know, it's possibly better on b6. And at this point now, I am going to need to put it on c7, actually. All right. Defending b5, but maybe I'll have like knight e5, knight b4. No. Knight b4 might actually be a good move. It looks like he's threatening to play d4. Well, maybe not. f6, as I said earlier, it just drastically weakens our white squares. I just don't know if I can afford any more weaknesses, but I do have to develop my pieces somehow. I mean, what else am I going to do? Looks like he's heading for that diagonal I was talking about. You know, putting his bishop here on this diagonal kind of thing. But we have to do something. I mean, this bishop has to get out. The alternative was to play h6 and bishop h7 like he did. It's just that I wanted to put pressure on c4. Camel Culture, what's up? Camel Clutcher. I notice our friend is streaming. Spinal Tap Chess was streaming, which is very rare. Can't remember last time I saw him streaming on here. Of course, I'm probably not on at the right time. Haven't played Spinal Tap in a long time. Alright. And now f6. Yes. And now we have like wonderful weaknesses all over the white squares, but hopefully this bishop will help. We'll just wait for Troll to lose on time. You know, earlier I thought maybe he could even like play d4 as a pawn sacrifice at a very early stage, because I was so far behind in development, but he decided to just play it safe. Nothing special going on. I mean, white's going to play knight c3 and then control the center. So I don't know. I mean, he doesn't really have any weak points. What do I do? If I was fully developed, I would say I can capture on c4 and try to play down the b file. If I was fully developed. But that is not the case here. So I like white a little bit better. As usual, when I play Troll in the opening, in Chess 960, he seems to always get a very coordinated, cohesive kind of setup going on. Now, this is a strange move, allowing knight e5. Maybe not that strange, but does he want to give up a bishop? Possible. He could give up his bishop on e5. I'll take back with the f pawn toward the center. And he has like bishop c6 and maybe f4 ideas. My bishop on a7 is pretty big problem, actually. It could potentially play, but right now it's still very handicapped. I mean, how is this bishop going to get in the game at the moment? I could have taken on c4 there, and I just missed it. I had b takes c last move. Just winning a pawn. Troll desperate in time pressure here after 13 moves. You're worse than me. Like my tournament games, at least I would make to like move 30 before I was about to lose on time. He also has bishop g4. There's knight g5 now, obviously. I don't really want to make more weaknesses in my king side with h6. You know, every pawn move you make, you can't take it back, so I only have a limited amount of weaknesses I can make. I mean, I don't know. There's just no convenient way to stop knight g5. Maybe I don't need to stop it, though. Just live with it. Something like queen to d8. Oh, queen d8, knight a5. Actually, this is starting to alarm me a little bit. Maybe this wasn't the highest priority problem, like knight a5, but... Alright, now he's got to still be better here now. Actually, the engine is calling it equal. Alright, man, but I thought you were clearly better before. I mean, out of the opening, I thought white's got to be better here. Here it likes black, actually. You've already messed it up, basically. Surprisingly, it doesn't think you're better. Wow. I thought you were better. That's weird. Okay, white's 0.1 better. 0.6 better. And then suddenly it doesn't like your position after e3. It being the engine, stockfish. How can e3 be so bad? The problem being the white squares, like this bishop here. Huh. Anyway, Troll needs to play faster. I need to play faster. Let's play some weird openings. That's the point here today. So Soltigo, Nabil, Moroi, and Moroi. Maybe I said it right for the first time. Moroi. And Arsenal fan Richie. I'm going to take the guys who are subscribers first. Thanks, Soltigo. Yeah, I mean, if somebody's like spamming caps, we can manually like time them out, but Mubot was starting to get annoying. We'll skip you temporarily. I'll play Arsenal fan since he's a subscriber. I do appreciate you guys who subscribe. The opening trainer. You actually are the opening trainer. Usually Gladys Troll gets a better opening in Chess 960 than me. Alright, Arsenal fan. In my tournament that I played last week was a 9-round robin. I played really badly. I lost 4 games in a row, finishing on -4 in a GM tournament. And, well, I mean, I think that my biggest problem is probably playing black against d4. But I just need to work also on white, because I'm a little bit sick of playing just knight f3 with the white pieces. I don't think it's that aggressive, but I kept on playing knight f3 because I just didn't have time to prepare enough. Okay, let's play knight f3 here, and we've played d4 and c4. This is actually a Catalan. The Catalan is extremely popular now. I'm supposed to play something unusual, though. So I forgot again. So to make this unusual, let's try a quiet setup here with knight to d2. I always forget the first game to play unusual openings. So this knight on bd2 is not a normal move, but it's not so bad either. Could be a semi-Slav type thing after c6. Normally this move though puts our knight on a passive square. What should black do? I think it would be a mistake to play something like bishop b4, turning it into a normal position. Black could play c6 or c5. c5 looks very interesting. Playing a Taurush where the knight is on the wrong square. That's what he did. Still, it's a normal opening, but white playing kind of a passive setup. If we take on d5, how does black recapture here? What else can I do, basically? Taking on c5, maybe playing a3. c5 is black's best move in this position, in my opinion. Though other moves are okay, you could just simply play like bishop e7 for sure, and that's perfectly fine. Next game we'll try to play something more unusual. I don't want to take on c5, develop his bishop for him. I'm a little concerned he's taking on d4 here. So what should I do? I have to take on d5. I guess we can play e3. And then we're recapturing with the pawn on d4. It looks pretty insipid for white, honestly. It's like playing knight d2 in a semi-Tarrasch. Looks pretty normal to me. The knight on d2 is not good. The opening trainer, I am not. I lost 3 games against d4. One with a Nimzo, one in a Blumenfeld, and one in a King's Indian. But I was not prepared to play the King's Indian, and my opponent tricked me. This guy is like always played g3 against the King's Indian. At least like recently, and I played the King's Indian and he just played like a really sharp line. I was just totally floored, unprepared. I thought my opponent was going to play the English and or a g3 King's Indian. The guy plays like a classical variation with h3. Pretty much like the sharpest line we can play, or one of them. Okay, so now I'm looking to play some kind of weird semi-Tarrasch. We're taking back with the pawn on d4. And taking with a knight on c4 probably. Establishing a knight on e5. Gladys Troll says, Selfmas. I'm paraphrasing. Gladys Troll, I understand your sentiment. A3, c takes d4, e takes d4. You know, if I take with the knight here, I have absolutely nothing. I mean, probably slightly worse. This knight is bad, but if he takes on c4, it becomes a good piece. I mean, I think that black could take on c4, but it would improve my worst piece, my problem piece that's blocking my pieces in. So I decided to play knight on bd2 in this line because we said it was unusual openings, weird opening stream. So I played something weird on move 4. It wasn't too late. I might be able to play something like b3, bishop b2. Anyway, guys, thanks for subscribing and watching. Now, bishop d3 isn't going to work, is it? If I play bishop d3, he takes on c4, and then we have a problem. b3. b3 is pretty ugly with the idea of recapturing with a knight and then playing bishop b2. There's also b4. Might in fact not be any worse than b3. Slightly more weakening. I can also play c5. Kind of standard Tarrasch idea. If I play c5, I've already played a3, so in the event of b6, I have b4. But I guess there, if like b takes c, d takes c, he starts rolling in the center with e5, and then we have to decide, like, how dangerous is this? Alright, what the heck, we only live once. Let's play something interesting. It's basically like a reverse Tarrasch where I push the pawn like a Swedish variation with c4. Not a structure that I'm ever like accustomed to playing, actually. I don't play the Slav, and I don't play the Tarrasch with black, which are the only openings where I can think of where you like push c5 or c4. Typically, the what's it called? The a6 Slav. Now, actually, Arsenal fans playing a5, circumventing me from playing b4. This is basically a Panna Botvinnik. That's the one opening where I actually do play this type of structure sometimes, although typically not. with c5. But my knight is on a weird square. I mean, the knight would normally go to like c3, obviously. I'm thinking about bishop b5 now. Maybe I could just play like rook b1 though. If rook b1, a4, bishop b5, queen a5 leaves me in an awkward spot. How about just bishop b5, then bishop d7, something like rook b1. Now if he plays a4, I guess I'll have to consider playing b4, letting him take on b3, and just playing, you know, with a slightly broken pawn structure there. Not really optimal. My problem was that after bishop b5, which looks like the normal move, after bishop d7, I don't know what I'm really achieving here. I guess that's what I should have done anyway, though. Bishop b5, bishop d7, then rook b1, because now he has a4. Bishop b5, queen a5, queen e2, for example, is possible. All right, I'm just going to play queen e2 and then castle. Looks like it's going to be a slightly better pawn structure for black. But his queen is in a bit of a strange position on a5. I don't think that's necessarily optimal. It could be vulnerable to attack later on. Let's say like bishop d7 castles, b6, b4, pawn takes pawn. I have rook takes, like with lateral mobility. I'm actually looking at that possibility for my rook. You know, pawn structure may not mean that much here if I can get my pieces to active positions. That's probably more important. This knight, notice how this knight is always like keeping me handcuffed. It has nowhere to go, ever. Except for f1. That would be, you know, like a plan, like in the Spanish or something. Actually looks a little bit like a Spanish. b4 takes, rook takes. I guess we should consider taking with the knight, though. The problem with taking with the knight, it leaves this e4 square wide open. You know, my knight is catching that square, which is very important. So maybe we'll just take with the rook. And as I was saying earlier, we have some ideas of rook lifts, but how can I clear the way? You know, knight e5 isn't really possible. Or is it? I could bring my bishop back to d3 and start to try to attack on the king side. I don't know. Black looks really solid here, though. What's up, guys? You can also shout. Challenge. All right. This wasn't really that weird of an opening. I hope to play something more extreme next game. But I'm just getting warmed up. I played d4. It's harder to play unusual openings, I think, with d4 than with e4. I don't know why it feels that way, but every Wednesday I try to do unusual opening stream. Thursday is a subscriber stream. Tomorrow night, Usually I start at 7, but tomorrow night, due to another engagement, I'm starting at 6 with the subscriber stream. So you guys keep that in mind, okay? If you're going to hang out with us tomorrow night, it's starting at 6 Central European time. Maximally solid play by black. I guess bishop b2. I mean, what other plans do I really have here? Knight e5 I was looking at. Knight e5 would decimate my own structure, though. Let's say bishop b2, b6, bishop c3, queen a7. Takes, rook takes. I don't really have another suggestion. It's almost like he's reading my mind or something. He anticipates all of my obvious moves. Not a lot of options here. Do I have any tricks of some kind, like bishop takes c6 and knight e5? It doesn't work. So he just ends up with perfect coordination, perfect piece placement, slightly better structure. But still, I don't know. Maybe it's not so bad for white. Just have this one static structural weakness. Not the end of the world. I have a passed pawn. What's the best way to do this? I have to take this guy? Wow. Is this even a good move? I'm not sure. Did I have this move earlier? No. All right. Let's use this open. Let's use the open lines we've got here. I'm basically really lucky to be better. Even has 94 now. Did not take the pawn. Oh man. I don't know, man. I think you were better. You were a little bit better earlier. Let me see. This move is surprising how many games there are here. I just think c5 is clearly best for black. Look at that. I mean, you could play something like bishop e7, but c5 just absolutely best move. Bang. Now e3, Smyslov versus Sveshnikov. Only real game. Only one game from this position ever played. c5 is a little risky. Yeah, here I should have played bishop b5 first. And after bishop d7, maybe then rook b1. Let me see. Yeah, this looks reasonable. That allows me to play b4 without you playing a4. Okay, guys. Soltigo, Nabil, Moroy, Camel Culture, Nisab, and Fisher was not crazy. So, Soltigo, can you play now? Because you're the next subscriber. I'm going to accept his challenge. Who is that? Night Aus. Maybe Soltigo, our moderator, can play. I am taking the guys who are subscribers first. Arsenal fan, Soltigo. I hope he's not too busy to play. Alright. So, I try to do unusual openings here on this Wednesday stream. I'm not sure, though. I mean, if White wants to play something like the London system, I always talk about how much I hate the London system. And I had an interesting conversation with Grandmaster Nicholas Sedlak. He was telling me how he plays the London system because of that. Like, he basically plays the London system. He wrote a book on it, but he said he likes to play it because people like hate the London system. And I was thinking, damn, that's like my view about it, you know? I mean, here I am, like one of the people that it's probably designed for. Anyway, what do we want to play here against knight f3 and d4? This is a fast time control, 5+5. I mean, relatively fast. But I'm trying to play unusual openings without going over the top and playing bad moves. You know, I think that c5 is it's not like that unusual, but it's a good way to play dynamically to combat, you know, the normal bishop f4, c3, e3 type of stuff. He can still play e3 there. I think I wouldn't really classify this as an overtly unusual opening, but for me it's unusual. I never play, you know, I don't regularly play the Benoni or stuff like that, so. Here I think we're trying to basically artificially isolate the pawn on d5. Rook b1 was an excellent move. I think that Arsenal fan, I should have played bishop b5 first, though. I think my move order, I just looked at that. You'll notice after the stream. I think that after the game, as I showed, it was more accurate to play bishop b5, and this is a kind of playable but weird move. You're supposed to play bishop g5, I believe. Like, bishop g5, it works against any kind of thing where, you know, any kind of Polish type of setup where black is playing b5. Like, this is almost always a good move. Another position where it's good is like if I were to play b6 here, bishop g5 is always strong. I think I had a game the other day where my opponent played knight f3, b5, and I played d4, and they played bishop b7, and then I played bishop g5. Another example. So he's not doing anything about this. What are you going to do about this? Now it's like too late. I don't know. It's interesting speculative pawn sacrifice, but I kind of doubt it. I guess I should just take it objectively. You could try to surround it. You might be able to surround it with something like e6 and queen b6 and take it in a more traditional and optimal way. What's his plan here? You know, hopefully for white he probably wants to, you know, win this pawn back like so and end up with a better pawn structure. But I could always play d5. So it looks suspicious to me. Now do I try queen b6 maybe? Interesting play as always from Soltigo. Kind of a self-taught player. He has a lot of original ideas. He doesn't have, you know, a lot of bias for like standard book ideas that can be handicapping to some people. Benko also created Pac-Man, yes? What? I thought that was a Japanese guy. Okay. My attention immediately, you know, thinking about that bishop. Bishop doesn't have too many squares. This could get pretty weird. I'm thinking about bishop g5. Obviously my first idea was f6, but it may not be that clear after something like e4. I mean, even that might be good for me, but so anyway, I was talking about the London, and you know, so Sedlak's whole basis for playing it was kind of like, you know, it makes people uncomfortable, like they want to like refute it and you can't. You know, so I think I have to adjust the way I think about the London system a little bit. Just accept that it's a playable opening. I don't know why it pisses me off so much. I mean, it has always pissed me off. Traditionally, it was an opening played by weaker players who wanted to like draw with the white pieces against me. And most of the time they were successful in that goal. And I think that's when I started to get kind of this angry bias toward the opening itself. But okay, back to the game in question here. It looks to me like he's not castling, and he's potentially, you know, gonna try to like castle opposite sides. So let's try something unusual. He does have an open G file. He could try to use that as an avenue of attack, and Soltigo likes to create complications. So I'm thinking, if you want to use a little bit of psychology, you have a player who's not castling intentionally, and then probably going to try to like create complications by castling opposite sides. I can keep the option to castle queenside for myself open. Hey Trouts, what's up, man? I didn't like my last account. Didn't like the name with numbers. Yeah, we'll take the next subscribers who are not subscribers. I'll take Nabil, and then I'll go back to Nefyadov, who's like a subscriber. Give you guys who are not subscribers a chance to play. Now Queen E2, which is pretty much what I figured. If I play Knight B4 here, what's his move, by the way? Something like Knight B3, maybe? You know, we're playing this game of chicken where neither side wants to commit to castling, it appears. There's also C4. Actually, I'm kind of liking this, but then he has A4. It might be that A4 messes me up too much. I'm not sure. But maybe not. It's not really pretty, but I want to put my knight on c5. But if he plays a4, I'll put my knight on b4 and be able to play a6 and maintain my pawn structure. That's my idea. We have two ways to go with a knight here. If he castles kingside, then it's business as usual. Okay, now I do have to watch for a4 now. I'm actually not sure. Maybe I should even go back to c7 at this point. Don't have a lot of time. I don't want to go to b4 anymore. And now c5. Yeah, I should have played knight c5 probably. He has some compensation. Okay, I don't know. I'm just going to castle kingside. I'm not as afraid of him attacking me on the king side here. He also has to beware of his own king on the long diagonal. I mean, it's nice to think about stuff like bishop h3 and checkmating me down the g file, but that's his king there, you know? I mean, I'm not so sure that that's sound. He also has a huge problem with the f4 square. It almost looks like he has to play queen b3. I can queen e3. Then I can even... I know how much he likes to trade queens too. I could trade queens and just be up a pawn and ending, but I think it might be best to trade queens in a different way. Wow. Okay, that knight is just locked in. We're not in any hurry here. Smart chopper. Bishop's on the long diagonals, and his king is definitely looking pretty dubious now. White went a little too far here, and now I'm ready to just go to the e file. He doesn't have h5. I've got knight d3. It doesn't win by force, but it's a possible plan. I'm not interested in like taking another pawn really. I just want to increase the pressure. Maybe rook e7 and rook e8 would be good. White is really in a bad way. Triumphant. What's up, everybody? All right, it looks like he's bringing his king up. Okay, and now he found another way to defend. My king is a little weakened now. Not sure I really like playing h6, but I'm not sure about this. I feel like I kind of messed it up. Like if I had one more tempo, I should have put my king on h8 already. Maybe that's my next move. He doesn't have any strong discoveries. If I do go g takes h. I mean, I'm sure that I missed good moves, but he's constantly putting me in time pressure. I should have probably put my king on h8 at some point. Maybe queen b7 wasn't that good. The king is safe on a dark square. Well, his bishop's hanging. Now he has g7, check, king takes. His bishop, that's a knight, sorry. Obviously, I have to clear the G file. All right, were we ever losing? Hopefully not. But after b5, I mean, this is really not a move, g3. Solzhenitsyn played it. Yehuda Grunfeld. It's a very strange move to me. I mean, it looks like black's already better after g3. So, all right. You are supposed to play bishop g5. I'm going to play Nabil, then we'll take the subscriber. I'm not going to be able to play all the non-subscribers, but we'll play a couple of you guys during the course of the stream. Nabil Ghassan. I'm supposed to play unusual openings. So Nefedov is up next. He's a subscriber. And then we'll play, you know, based on how much time we have. Unusual openings against c4 and knight f3 are very hard to come by. But let's see what we can do here. If we can find an unusual idea in the classical reverse Sicilian, maybe. It's just called the reverse Sicilian, I guess. I just said classical. It feels kind of like e5 should be called like the classical variation. But he played e3. I mean, what the heck am I going to do against e3, you know? I mean, this is like not very combative, but solid for white, you know? Am I supposed to play an unusual opening against this? We can play like a wing gambit. What other ideas could we try? Like a Grand Prix attack, not very effective against e3, e6 type of setups. We could definitely play a Mora, but we're down a tempo. What other, you know, unusual approaches can you play against the against such a solid opening, like the most solid conceivable way of playing the English with e3? At the tournament I just played in the GM tournament, there was a game of g3 h5 played by Indic, Serbian superstar. That's a little bit, you know, over the top, but g3 h5, it might be playable. Okay, he can basically play d4. I mean, it's very hard for me to do something totally unusual here. It doesn't have to be unusual on the first move, of course not. Like, I mean, you know, I'd like to play, for example, like, this looks like a mouse slip. Is this a mouse slip? I'm just going to offer him a take back when my flag is going. I think he wanted to play a3. I'm going to guess he meant to play a3. That's weird. So I think that if this was a tournament game, I probably would play pawn takes pawn d5. But instead I'm going to play e4, which is riskier. And I thought about playing this as a gambit for black. Okay, this is kind of a strange move, but why not? Not a bad move, just slightly passive for white. Okay. I'm just going to turn it into a wing gambit. You can do that against the French. He's just ignoring my moves, basically. Alright. Obviously, white should take on b5. I think bishop a6 makes some sense to trade my bad bishop, but on the other hand, this type of gambit, I'm really trying to establish a strong center, and I think it's more, you know, normal to play the wing gambit where I'm just trading off my b pawn so I can eliminate a central pawn and then establish a strong center. This is much more fundamental than, say, playing like bishop a6 where I'm just trading pieces. And white's play is slightly suspicious, but it's not that bad. You know, his pieces aren't placed that well. If I play bishop takes, queen takes, I've got problems with the d7 pawn. I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. Bishop takes, queen takes, c6. I have problems with the queen b7 coming in there. Sorry guys, I don't know what I'm talking about, but you know, I'm just gonna try to worry about now this knight on b8. Eventually that piece has to get in the game. I could play c5 though. This actually looks reasonable. Wasn't my original plan, but otherwise, like, how am I going to get my knight in the game? Given an opportunity to probably trade queens or trade bishops and solve the problem of my bad knight, I'm going to do it. There is definitely like a strategic side of this that's risky, where I'm playing c5 and he could take on c5 and I could have a backward pawn. This is like another tempo. If he takes with the queen, I gain another tempo. It seems strange. All right. And now for our next trick. I mean, it seems to me like h5 is a no-brainer. I am going to lose a pawn there. Then it's not a no-brainer. Complicated and interesting, though. Wow. All right. It's a blitz game. I'm going to sacrifice a pawn here. Now, Bielk seems mostly concerned with moving really fast. He's got a high bullet rating, but it doesn't seem like he's trying to play the best moves. Just moving fast with playable moves. I think I have the advantage already after 12 moves, but it's not like a long-term advantage. It's more like a dynamic development type of advantage. He has some issues. Basically, my thinking was this: I've got a trap here, plus the d pawn can be very strong, plus if he tries to castle, then the h file is very, very dangerous for him. .95 maybe. Just bishop d6 is possible. Not really sure what's going on here. I don't have time to calculate. But my opponent relying heavily on time. Magnus says Gary is the greatest. Gary says Bobby is the greatest. Does he say that? Is that true? Well, who else is Gary supposed to say? Gary, you know, who's he supposed to say is the greatest? Anatoly? I mean, that was like his arch rival. Everybody's forced to say the previous guy was the best. Spassky says that Karpov was the best. Spassky actually claimed that Karpov was stronger than Fischer. But maybe he was programmed to say that by the Soviet government. I don't know. But I think that it looked like that based on his score. Spassky actually did worse against Karpov than against Fischer. But then again, Fischer just like lost a couple of games in the beginning. Okay, well, we have a very practical situation here, it looks like. He can't castle. I'm down, what, a pawn? 2 pawns? I'm not that worried about the pawn, you know, or pawns. A minute 31. Oh, this is a new account. Just the time game. I'd rather be black here. Definitely. But my time is very limited. I'm almost certainly going to get one of the pawns back. And, wow, h4. The guy seems insanely strong, though, based on the time used. This is not really chess for me, though. Just playing for time. He might have had rook takes last move. No. Looks like he's going to do it now. Oh. Not the greatest technique by me. Damn. I don't think I can make progress here. Like, his speed is just unbelievable. I don't remember the last account that this guy had, but there's no way I'm going to win this position. He was like clearly better before I sacked the exchange. His technique is just excellent. Look at this. Opening was awful for white. He was basically clearly worse. Here apparently I was winning. No. Okay, I was gonna say. I mean, I sacked the pawn here with h5. It was pretty risky. But interesting, you know. I'm actually sacking a second pawn. So he finds the best move here, bishop g4. And knight e5 was lame. Still I have compensation, but I had no time, and it was too hard. So extremely strong game by white, based on the speed at which he played. Okay, Nefedov is up next. I'm supposed to play unusual openings. Yesterday I played the Caro-Kann against Nefedov, but I just never feel really happy with my Caro-Kann. Let's play e4, e5, try to find something unusual there. All right. Knight f3. I'm trying to play an unusual opening here. I'm not going to play the elephant gambit. We've got our favorite troll back. I'm not going to play the elephant gambit with black. Let's see, the Latvian I've played before. It's a little bit over the top. I'd like to play something sound that I don't normally play. A little bit risky kind of variation. The Petrov, I mean, I'm striving to play unusual openings here. So in a normal stream, I would definitely play the Petrov. I do play the Petrov, at least in blitz and occasional tournament games, but not very often. What can we do, you know? Let's try to play the bird's defense. Not something I ever normally play. Black loses time moving the same piece twice, and he also has his strong point drawn away from e5, which can be a disadvantage in certain instances too if these center pawns start rolling forward. Once I saw yeah, Soltigo, it's the same guy. He always has these, like, you know, Anyway, you'd have to pay attention to the streams a little more closely, but it's it's the same guy. He always does that. So and so and so and so. Usually it's like a neo-Nazi or something, but in this case it was just me and Donald Trump. Trump Breivik, you know, 2020. That was the last one. The mass murderer from Norway. I don't really want to discuss it on the stream and make him feel good about himself, like he's got attention, but it's the same guy. So castles, I think bishop c5 or c6, I'm not really sure. I guess c6 is okay as well. Just that if I draw that bishop to c4, do I have tactical problems? Maybe bishop c5. However, bishop c5 is queen g4. So what about bishop g5, bishop c5, queen g4 here, knight f6, queen takes g7, rook g8, something like that? How much play do I have there? Is that even remotely sound for me? Right, so if I play c6, bishop c4, well, that's another story. Okay, I never play this for black. Occasionally I play for white. Ban anyone with me in the name? Not necessarily, no. I think bishop a4 is the best move for white, probably. But this is playable for white, too. Nefedov is getting faster, it looks like. He's out for blood for some reason. Normally, like, in many cases, we'll play, like, knight f6, but here I don't think that's an option, obviously. So I have to play bishop e7. But it looks okay. You're kidding me, right? What? That just forked everything. I'm just suddenly lost in one move. Wow. What's up with Nefedov today? Nefedov, I'm just lost like that, huh? I didn't know that Nefedov was like an expert on white in the birds variation. Now I know. It's hard to understand what exactly I did wrong here. Just losing outright, instantaneously. He used no time for the whole game. Even knight f6 is good? Dude, I'm like losing a piece, aren't I? Knight f6, queen takes g7, rook g8. I wouldn't call it good. Who said that? I wouldn't call this good. At the very least, white is like up a clear pawn after bishop takes d7, queen takes d7, queen takes d4. And secondly, queen takes g7, rook g8, queen takes f6, bishop takes b5. Doesn't look real good for black. When I'm like down 2 pawns for nothing. I'm down 1 pawn for nothing in variation A, and down 2 pawns for nothing in variation B. So maybe knight f6 is the only move, but it's pretty gruesome. Just thought I'd play something totally off the wall, but I don't know any theory. Strange. I mean, bishop c4 is not the main line. I think bishop a4 is more common, but I thought I could play d5. What else am I supposed to play there if I can't play d5? I guess I'm supposed to play knight f6, and I messed it up. Knight f6, e5, d5. Okay. My bad. Wait, aren't I losing a piece here? Yeah, I'm just losing a piece. No, I take with the king on d7. Okay. I'm not losing a piece. This is horrifying for black. I'm not losing a piece, but I'm down a pawn with my king in the center of the board after bishop takes d7. It's just horrific. Horrific. Well, I mean, it's hard to find a good move when you have a lost position after 8 moves, thus 5 minutes down. It is a 5-second increment, so it's not real difficult to make moves in 5 seconds. I'm not so worried about the time situation. I'm just going to resign here. There's an actual game that reached this position. A 2200. That must be... No, that's a real game. I think Vokarev is an actual player. Somebody actually got to this position with black and played on. I just can't bear to play any more moves. So I'm supposed to play knight f6 on move 6 here. I didn't know the theory, obviously. You have to play knight f6. I forgot. Thought I was supposed to play d5. There's actual games here. And you have to play king f8 in this position. Little did I know. King f8, wonderful. Yeah. And then you're just clearly worse. I mean, so, yeah, I saw even, there's a Halifman game, and Kasparov didn't play bishop b5, didn't play rook e1 check, he played bishop b5 check. But this move actually is trickier. It gives black more ways to go wrong, it seems like. So I have to play knight e7. That's superior anyways. It's just a clear advantage to white. Bishop b5 check, and now I didn't realize I'm supposed to play king f8, but this is already a grotesque position for black, in my opinion. I wouldn't want to touch this. So we have to play knight f6 here. This is the important move. And still I don't really like black, but it's playable. Looks like rook e1, d6, or bishop c5 with a playable position. Kovalek, Spassky, 1982. Okay, well that's the first and last time I'm going to play the bird's defense in my life. Pretty easy to play a perfect game for white here. Nefedov hasn't beaten me in a while. This was pretty convincing. He's like 1600. No, 1800. 8 cent-pawn loss, 0 inaccuracies. Actually, yeah, this is best. Was knight f6 the best move after all? It's pretty much the same as bishop takes b5, I guess. Bishop takes b5 is even worse. Yeah, this is forced. Best moves. Yeah, that's pretty good, man. It's like all the opening traps. Queen g7 is my first move. Well, what other move is there? Yeah, I don't really want to play this opening ever again. I could play rook f8. I didn't consider that. It may actually... I don't want to look at this position anymore. Alright, Camel Culture. Fischer was not crazy. And nice sab. I wouldn't call it perfectly playable. I think the Danish variation that Nefedov plays with f5 is better than the bird's defense. I mean, I think if you ask any top player, they would agree. I mean, f5 is a line that people play, but very few players play this bird's defense. The only player I saw play it was I can't remember momentarily. It will come back to me in a second. It's a Russian grandmaster. That really narrows it down. Let's play g3. Or no, wait a minute. Let's play d3. Yeah, but the thing is, like, Nefedov, I don't know. I think that bishop a4 is actually considered to be the main line, not bishop c4. But maybe bishop c4 is even better. I don't know. We're going to play a kind of unusual setup here. Bishop e2 is interesting. And f4. If f4 d5... Another move is bishop e3. I'm going to play g3. A reversed closed Sicilian. I mean, it is a closed Sicilian. Go to the pool. You have a pool there? Gladys Troll, thanks for sharing. Someone at your clubs plays bishop e2. Alekhine played it on move 3. I think Larson probably played it on move 2. You can get some weird and interesting closed Sicilian type setups. But what I'm doing is basically a pretty standard formation. More often when black is white and white is black. If you were to play e6 there, I could consider like h4, h5, but knight f6 kind of cuts that out, I think. This looks like a good way for black to play. I could just transpose to a normal closed Sicilian with knight c3, but it's a pretty lame variation for white. c3, d5, I suppose for black is good. This way I can meet d5 with the e5 for whatever it's worth. It's not that big a deal, but tomorrow night I have a subscriber stream, 6 o'clock. I'm not going to play the bird's defense anymore. Camel Culture seems very happy with this setup he's playing. The moves are coming fast. If I play c3 now, maybe we can play a formation that's called like the big clamp. Now that d5 isn't really, you know, an easy move to play without answering the response e5. I'm not afraid of that as much, so we can just go about our business. Knight a3 maybe, h3. Ultimately d4, I would think. Why don't I just play d4? Seems consequent, you know. Kind of early, but this is what we set out to do. Immediately finds the best plan. Instantly. That's impressive. The only thing I was concerned about like, he plays against this variation all the time. I mean, I imagine there are some people who play this kind of line with white. I'm not one of them. I mean, I'm just doing this on a lark, but I just wouldn't think it would be something you'd be really accustomed to. But he reacted very, very well. I mean, playing d5, definitely best, and pushing the knight into e4. This has got to be black's best. Now the question is, knight takes e3, f5, bishop f5, or bishop g4. All of these moves are playable. Even queen a5 might be a move. That looks kind of artificial to me, though. I probably just castle with a good game. So he's taking time. You know, there's basically like 4 candidate moves here. President Donald Duck is watching. All right. Bishop f5 was chosen. You know, that pawn on e4 could become a weakness. So I think first of all I want to secure my center. But I do have to watch out for knight to b4. That's not playable yet. This reinforces d4. It's actually a lot like a Grunfeld. I mean, this feels like a d4 opening to me. It feels like I'm playing the white side of the Fianchetto Grunfeld more than an e4 opening. I think it's hard for both sides to play this kind of position, to be honest. Now I have knight takes e4 followed by knight c3, and I think I'm going to surround that pawn. He doesn't have tricks with knight to b4 right away. It boils down to like a pawn sacrifice, which may not be that bad for black, actually. He'll always have some kind of compensation here. You know, you could just castle, and maybe I should consider playing d5. The only thing is that now he has knight b4. So maybe I should consider, sorry for using the same phrase again and again, just castling first, and then considering the possibility of playing for d5. He also has this. I mean, I can win a pawn. Yeah, maybe knight b4 isn't so good. He has some compensation, but I still guess you'd have to prefer to be up the pawn here than be down a pawn. And now the question is where to put my bishop. If I put my bishop on d2, he has queen b6. It looks like it has to go here, which isn't the best, but defends the pawn. I'd rather have my bishop like central, you know, where it looks both directions on d2. But how do you protect the d4 pawn there? We're basically up a pawn, black having a little bit of compensation. Now, I don't know. I wouldn't mind trading queens here. I mean, my king is like in a vacuum. There are a lot of open squares. You know, my king side looks kind of, yeah, vacuous is a good word. In fact, well, anyway, I'm not going to give black moves, but I think that's an excellent move, sir. Queen a6, exactly what I was thinking. So the white squares are just ugly. The knight on d5 is strong, isn't it? Needs to go. It needs to go before it does any serious damage, I would say. I don't know. Maybe I should have put my knight on d6 or something, but he can always trade it off with bishop f8. He still has a lot of compensation. I don't know that white is much better here. I have to be very careful. Ooh. Okay, black will have to watch for the back rank problems. This is awkward. Damn. Bishop on f2 is like non-piece. Maybe I should have played rook on f to c1 instead of rook a c1. There he had rook b5, which I think was pretty strong. I mean, still he has a good game. Doesn't really matter what I do. About to lose on time. Black with excellent compensation. Looks very bad for me suddenly. I think he had b5 there, disrupting my coordination. He also had bishop a3. I'm seeing more moves for him than I am for me. I see. Sack the exchange. Okay, we've got to get our own pawn majority going. We're just lucky he didn't attack me. Alright. I'm very lucky if I win this game. I mean, he was just better. Let's take a look, though, quickly. President Donald Duck mentioned. I've got 84% upon loss. This is all only one game. Wow. That's weird. It's hard to believe that there's only one game that's ever reached this position. That's ridiculously impossible. I mean, this is like a standard variation. Quinteros against Raymond King, 1978. C3. That's unbelievable that there's no games that have reached this position. In master play, according to the Lichess Opening Explorer. Impossible. I thought this was definitely best for black, 94. As I said during the stream, I think this was the critical moment. I didn't really, know for sure about bishop f5. The computer is very materialistic. It's saying white's better here. I'm not that convinced. Maybe I shouldn't waste time moving my bishop queen b3. Anyways, he has compensation here. Queen a6 is a standout move. I think black has compensation. The computer is being a little materialistic. But apparently I was in trouble in one moment. Maybe when I put my rook on c4? Right here. No. He did have rook b5 here. Oh, it was this position when I played queen c2. Yeah, he has b5 and my rook is trapped. Alright, I did mention that. I didn't realize it was actually fully trapped. I thought it was just getting out of play, but it is just concretely trapped. So that was a pretty serious blunder. Yeah, it's absolutely like a Gurgenidze. What you did is fine. I think the computer is too materialistic. I mean, black has an easy game to play, no weaknesses. It may be difficult to win, but I think it's also very, very difficult for white to win. You just missed b5. So, Moroi, chess 960, I'm not supposed to play chess 960 today anymore, Moroi. It's weird opening. So if you want to re-challenge me anyway to a time control like 5+3 through 7+3, I would appreciate it. I'm going to play Nisab 7+3. So please make the challenges between 5+3 and 7+3, and not chess 960 today. I made an exception for troll on a roll, but normally I'm not playing chess 960 on Wednesdays. So, unusual openings. I don't know what to do here. Let's play the Dunst opening. Something interesting. Something that I never play in serious games. Knight c3, but it's not a bad move. Now we can transfer to Owen's defense. Owen defense. Owen apostrophe S. Owen's like the defense of Owen. Reverend John Owen. Okay, so d4 looks fine. Because d5 gives him a weird French with b6 on move 2. Why is knight c3? I don't know. Okay, there are a lot of like... The d5 is why. I mean, d5 is black's best move. There's no question, honestly. The computer will tell you that it probably equalizes immediately. It probably loses white's advantage, but it's not so bad. You're not like worse. And that's why a lot of creative players like Rapport and Jabava play this stuff. Okay, so now d5, and my assumption is that black will try to play it like a kind of temporary pawn sack. If I take with the pawn, like pawn takes pawn, knight f6, bishop b5 check. Actually, that looks really bad for black. So I can take either way. This is not okay for black. Probably has to recapture, and then he just like gives up his white squared bishop for not enough. He's just giving up his white squared bishop for a knight, you know, in an open position with a fianchetto on the queen side. He's got a lot of white square weaknesses in that kind of position. And you know, knight f6, bishop b5 check looks really bad for black. So I think he has to do this, but it's ugly. It's really ugly for black. Even bishop e2 is interesting. I kind of like bishop e2. Trying to exploit the white squares. Shouldn't you be higher rated on lichess as an IM? Non-stop XS. Well, that's what happens when you lose 2 games with a forfeit and then you're mouse slipping another. I lost 150 rating points in 3 games. I don't really agree with this system that, you know, you're basically losing 50 rating points when you forfeit a game by not moving in the first 20 seconds. I don't think that that's good for anybody. It skews the rating system, first of all. So now that you mention it, who is that non-stop XS? I wanted to talk about this. I understand that people forfeiting games is like annoying, but the truth is that I've probably forfeited like 4 games in 2 years on lichess. But 2 of them happened to be like last week when I was trying to fix my mouse. And so, like, on one level, I think that it's too harsh a punishment to like rip 50 points off of someone because they didn't move in 20 seconds. But I think the second problem is that it artificially manipulates the rating system. Now I'm like 2300 when I'm supposed to be like 2450 or higher. And how does that benefit anyone? Now I'm basically like screwing over people that I play because I'm like 100 points stronger than my rating. You know, so I think this whole system doesn't make sense. The fact that we're getting like a full, you know, like if you go to FIDE or over the board tournaments, people don't gain rating points when they win by forfeit, okay? That doesn't happen. If you forfeit a game in an over the board tournament, you simply win the point. You don't gain rating points. The game is not rated. It doesn't make sense, you know, so that's the reason why I'm so low rated. I mean, I was sort of low rated to begin with because I don't, you know, really try to, you know, there are certain people on lichess whose life goal it is to be 2700 on the internet. You know, I really don't care about that, but I want to have at least like a respectable rating. But it's not cool that you lose 50 points for forfeiting a game. There should be some other kind of system in place, like a punishment. If you forfeit a certain amount of games in a certain amount of time, maybe you're banned from tournaments or playing rated games, you know. But it doesn't help that I'm, you know, just underrated by 100 some points now, and I'm just basically like ripping people off, you know, when I'm playing them much stronger than my rating. Now the whole system, I like lichess, but this has to go. Like, this has to be changed. Here I have knight g3 now. There he has castles, or queen a5 check, sorry. No, I don't agree with the system at all. I think that it's totally wrong. This is better for white. Maybe I have even stronger moves, I don't know. You can use your keyboard. Well, I mean, as I said, like, whatever. I was in the middle of the game and I was trying to fix my mouse. I could have used my keyboard. I never like did keyboard input for 20 years. I guess it just didn't occur to me, but it's not that important to me. I'm like, whatever, okay, I can get the rating points back. But I mean, the argument is more about this. The system doesn't make sense, you know? Why do you want people running around who are like 100 or 150 or 200 points like overrated or over, you know, underrated? It's just going to screw other people over in the process. It doesn't make sense. So I had one mouse slip where I, on move 10, like went to capture something and my mouse decided to just push the pawn instead. That was 50 points. And then another 50 points for a forfeit, and then another 50 points for another forfeit. So I would be like 150 points higher right now. It's still, it's like, you know, but another thing is that people have misconceptions about like how strong players are. I mean, I don't think you can correlate lichess ratings to over the board ratings really correctly. It's not like an equal comparison. I don't know, my FIDE rapid rating is like 2370 or something. So, you know, I guess that's a starting point, but black's position is very suspicious here. But let's just play a solid move. Give my queen squares. Black's underdeveloped. He has a lot of weaknesses on the white squares. But anyway, now that they mentioned this about my rating, that's not the point I want to get to. The point I want to make is about the rating system where you're getting points for forfeits is bogus. I mean, there's no way that makes sense, you know? I understand they need a way to stop people, to discourage people from forfeiting games, but it's not the best way to do it. So we're just winning this pawn. Check and queen e5, rook g8, queen takes e4. Then castles queenside. This might even be a mistake for me, you know, theoretically. I'm helping him develop his bishop. I think that might actually be a bad move. On Chess24, one guy is rated 4,000. What are you guys talking about in the stream? I didn't see. Who ye fan? Okay. Well, I mean, the forfeits were against extremely low-rated players who were like 1,800. Okay, so I'm like losing maximum rating points in one game. It wasn't like I was forfeiting against another guy who was 2,400. I'm forfeiting to 18 and 1700s, maybe even lower. I don't remember. It was just a random tournament, you know, like an hourly blitz or hourly rapid. You know, so I lose the maximum possible points for playing like a really low-rated player, and I did that twice. Plus, I forfeited against another guy who was like I mouse slipped a piece against a guy who was like 1900. That's how it started, because my mouse started to be really crappy and started to just like drop pieces in the middle of the move. I'd be going like bishop h6 and it just drops the piece down on like, I don't know, f4 or d2 or something like that along the way. But Nysab's opening was bad. I mean, he can't play d5 there. This is just, once he gives me the white square bishop, it's like almost winning strategically for white. He just dropped his rook. No, he didn't move. Okay. Guys, I'm streaming till 12:30, so we have like 40 minutes left. That's time for 2 or 3, 4 games. I don't know, we'll see. The faster games, like 5+3, I've got more time. Moreau didn't fix the time control, but I'll play them anyway. Moreau, it's 5+3 through 7+3. You're just used to the tournament time control I did yesterday because lichess won't allow me to do like a bigger increment than 2 seconds. Roy. But we always do a 3-second increment. I don't like to lose on time, and I tend to lose on time when it's like 5+2. So I would appreciate if the time would be 5+3, because I'm commentating the games. I'm not just playing. You know, it takes a lot of time for me to do the commentary, and I prefer to have the 3-second increment, so I'm not just getting flagged every game. Feel free to send Sladgie a challenge 5+3, 7+3. Why do I get upset about it? Because people, like, you know, make really rude comments about me. That's why. That's very disparaging and upsetting. You know, I don't personally care about ratings, but I do care about people like insulting me and making disparaging comments triumphant. That's the thing that bothers me. I don't try to collect rating points. You know, I could probably be 2,700 like certain players on lichess if I went out of my way like every day, like my life was my lichess rating, you know, but it's not. I really don't care that much. But I do not want to like look like an embarrassment and have people like saying he's a weak IM or something like that, which is very disparaging and upsetting, you know. I don't personally care that much about my rating, but I don't want it to look stupid, you know. That's the line that I draw, basically. All right, we're gonna put bishop on e3. This isn't very good, but anywhere else I go, like f4 walks into g5, d2 is bad. I'm discouraging c5 here. Maybe I can just like double my rooks with like rook e1 and rook e2. I think the 2450, 2500 is respectable. I could probably be even higher if I really like spend every day caring about my rating, but that's obviously not the goal. I just don't want to be an embarrassment, you know. I mean, there are certain people who get their titles from very weird things, you know, like some obscure. Well, they're handing out titles for obscure things lately. You know, like one junior tournament makes people instantly an IM. And people like that tend to be like not really good enough to have the title. And so, you know, you will see IMs who are rated like 2200. Maybe they won like an African zonal tournament or something like that. Or they won the junior championship of New Jersey. I mean, you know, I deservedly got my title, you know, so I don't want to look like I'm one of these people who was just like awarded my title for nothing. I better watch my back rank here. But anyway, what should I do? Just play like g3? Even d5 might not be a bad move. The problem is like pawn takes pawn, rook takes rook, rook takes rook, check, king c6, and now my back rank. I guess I'm winning. It's kind of a process. But speaking of Penguin I don't think he should go around like saying he's a GM, because it's not really correct. I mean, he's a GM elect now, technically. And that's not the same thing as being a GM. You know, I mean, titles are something awarded, you know, by the FIDE Congress. You can't just call yourself a GM because you have 3 GM norms in the rating. He should really not call himself a GM on lichess till he's actually got the title officially. But I mean, it's a small point. I think it's a little bit rude, a little bit arrogant to do that. You know, we have like an IM here who just won a category like 12 tournament, and the guy is like 2600 like FIDE, and he's got like 4 GM norms, but he doesn't call himself a GM. You know, I think that's kind of a little bit weird. If you haven't been officially awarded the title, you probably shouldn't go around like claiming you're a GM. I mean, he will be a GM when the FIDE title comes, I mean the FIDE Congress, but it's still technically not correct. You know, you should wait until you officially have the title. I mean, okay, this game was over. I had to show some good technique here. Scheveningen, haven't seen you in ages. Wow. All right, so we've got time for like 3 more games probably. Fisher was not crazy. Or Roy, thank you for changing the time control. He actually disconnected and came back. You know, respect our like FIDE, nor like FIDE. Well, it's the only game in town, Gladys Troll. I mean, I don't like them. I don't have to like them, but you know, there's no other titles. That's all we've got, unfortunately. So I you know, I don't really hate FIDE. I don't like the president of FIDE and the people who are controlling it, you know, at the moment. That's the bigger issue. You know, this has been going on for 20 years. But it's the only game in town, Troll. Unfortunately, the only rating system and the only titles. I mean, I think we still have to respect it. That part of it, at least, you know, to some degree. Yeah, I still complete. I just finished the tournament with -4 and lost 15 rating points. All right. So I'm going to try to play something a little unusual here, A6. I don't like FIDE, but I still think we have to respect the titles because that's all there is, you know. I mean, okay, yes, lichess has lichess titles, but it's online chess. It's a totally different thing. I'm talking about real over-the-board chess. The only worldwide titles are the FIDE titles. What do you think of Naka and Muzishuk pulling out of the World Rapid? I think it's totally, I think, you know, it's a reasonable thing to do. You know, there's no way that the Israelis should be blocked from playing in a tournament. If Saudi Arabia agreed to host an international tournament, then all players should be allowed to play. There is no way that that's okay. So yeah, I definitely think that that's justified. Okay, now I have to remember this. I'm supposed to play here b5 or something. We can sack a pawn. Sacking a pawn. This player seems really strong. I barely managed to beat them yesterday, and I lost 2 other games. I do play chess 960, but not today. d4e5 is not a good opening. Maybe in blitz or bullet chess. I don't think it's even good for blitz. It's probably very good for bullet, I would imagine. The d4e5. Okay, so Moreau's supposed to take this pawn on b5, but he didn't. I think you pretty much have to take the pawn. There was one game where Wojtaszek played this with black, and I recently did a video series on the Blumenfeld, and I covered this a6 line. It's not really a Blumenfeld, but it's a fun variation. You know, so if Wojtaszek can play it, I guess it's playable. All right, so e3 Wojtaszek or Wojtaszek. My pronunciation of Polish names, world loser, is not that good. Wojtaszek. I don't know. Anyways, we're going to take here. I don't know if this is the best move. It looks like white was pre-moving. I'm not sure. I mean, I could also play b4 there. But I guess the pre-move of bishop takes c4 is a safe thing to do. Play like d4 or d5 and c5 for one thing. It's basically like some kind of Polish defense. Everything's Polish. Wojtaszek, Polish defense, world loser. Bishop c4, d5. Not the only way to play here for black, but I was honestly thinking maybe c5 now, when we use our center pawns effectively. Wojtaszek. Interesting. Alright, so I've been mispronouncing it. Good to know. Wojtaszek. D takes c5. Now, what about knight on bd7? Maybe I could like temporarily sack a pawn. He's got b4 though. b4, that's awkward. b4, a5. Ooh. I think we'll just take the pawn. Yeah, thank you. Arsenal fan. Are you sure? Wojtaszek. I thought it was World Loser answering me. He's probably busy off doing something else. Do I really want to put my bishop on b7 here? I guess there's nothing wrong with it. I'm trying to control e4, as you can see. Okay, if queen b3, queen b6, that's no problem. I think the critical question is the white taking the pawn on b5. This is not a line I would play in a long game. For blitz, maybe rapid chess. I mean, the Wojtaszek game might have been rapid, I'm not sure. He played another strong player and actually played this gambit. Maybe he lost, but I think he had a good position at one point. It's so different over the board. I would never play anything weird and wonderful. Oh, I have, man. I played the St. George defense. It's just that lately, Nefedov, I really, you know, try to be serious. I played one knight h3 in a team tournament game, okay? So, it's not true. Your view of me is not 100% correct. I have played some very strange stuff. My teammates were horrified when I played one knight h3 against the 2400 FIDE player. And then, again, I played the St. George multiple times with black, only losing once. So I do experiment. Not so much lately, though. Now I have e5 here, dropping a pawn. Probably not a good move. But I really made a conscious effort in the last year or two since coming back to the game to try to not waste my time playing garbage. I do want to try to make the most out of the time and play really quality openings and not mess around too much. And I think you should know what you're playing. If you look at my older games, I have tons and tons of weird games. Maybe not tons and tons, but some. Knight e4. Hitting his queen now. He's got this a5 square. Is that relevant? Yeah, I mean, knight e4 seems a little bit weird. Let's just play this. Maybe a5 here. We got some space advantage because our extra pawn in the center is controlling a lot of key squares. Did I win the game with knight h3? I tragically almost lost, but I drew. I sacked a pawn on move like 4. I did like knight h3, d5, d4. No, knight h3, d5, e4, I think. How was it? Knight h3, e5, d4, sorry. Knight h3, e5, d4. Just losing a pawn. I wasn't a chess professional at the time. And I had to defend the whole game. Hungarian 2400 player who's like a really strong FM or something. He tortured me, but I managed to hold on. Like barely by the skin of my teeth. I don't think I should take here. Yeah, that wasn't a good idea to play one knight h3 in a team game. Okay, to be fair, our team sucked, and we didn't have any chance of, like, doing anything. I mean, we were basically, like, not being relegated, but it was, like, late in the season. We had no chance to win the division. So it didn't really matter that much. I mean, I never would have done something insane like that if like we were playing in the verge of getting relegated or basically, you know, in danger somehow. Maybe bishop a6. Another good move might be knight d7 at some point. I'm not sure about this. I'm going to need to play h6. Where is he going? I don't know where he's going with knight g3. Then I was thinking of h6 and trying to play e5. I've got to watch my b4 pawn, obviously. Man, I don't know. This just keeps getting weirder and weirder. Really sure. I'm afraid of like piece sacrifices on g5 to create a passed pawn. If I play like g5, he'll have knight takes and h6 or something. All right, knight d4. What is going on? Now knight g4? I'm going to put my king on d6, where it was meant to be in the first place. This guy is awful strong for 1900. Okay, I have bishop a6 check. Yeah, that's a really irritating move. I think I'm going to have to actually take because of g5 knight f5 check. Actually, what difference does it make? Knight f5 check is very disruptive. Never mind. I can't allow that. No, I'll have to play knight d3 check or something. Oh, he's giving me that pawn. What is going on now? I guess we'll just take on f2. I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, it's just getting kind of random. I'm really super confused here. I've got to watch the b4 pawn. I've got to watch the f5 square. And I don't see how I can make progress. Okay, that's not really a problem. Maybe I play d4. Is this too dangerous? I got to do something. Okay. Really very little time here to concentrate. I do have a passed pawn, white does not. That should give us some chance. I don't like his last exchange. This was a strong move, however. A4, A3, I move the bishop like bishop G6. No, actually A3, I just take it. That's good. Alright, I'm threatening bishop B1. Now we have some chances. D3, maybe knight D3 check. Pawn's on the wrong color. But we have this possible invasion. Maybe a piece sacrifice. Maybe Zugzwang. G4 puts his pawn on the wrong color there. Just want to mate myself somehow. No, I'm not taking a draw here. I mean, I'm clearly better. This is close to winning. I'm not sure this is making progress. To find a different way to make progress. Wow, 95. Got monstrous king position. It was very nice of him to offer me a draw, but I'm going to have to decline. All right, we've got time for one more game, guys. That's barely winning. Whew, he's got this check. All right, not giving up. An inspired fight by white. Is there a stalemate? No. Alright, man, tough fight. I think I was better at the end there. I mean, offering the draw. Black has no losing chances. My king is too strong. It's probably nearly winning when he offered a draw. Worst case scenario, it's a draw. This was an unnecessary risk here. You had knight takes d7. That probably is a draw. But I was really low on time. Alright, guys, last game, Scheveningen. Alright, unusual openings. Haven't played Scheveningen. It's Polish, right? Sorry. So, what are we gonna do? He's a good Najdorf player. I guess he plays the Slav. Against the Slav, I don't really know. Unusual openings. Anyway, Spinal Tap Chess, thanks for joining us. Let's play the Black Mardemer. A lot of strong players may not be that well prepared in this opening. Master strength players. Yeah, this is interesting. Sarawan played this, bishop f5. And now, I'm trying to remember. I think I'm supposed to play g4. Sarawan, when given the, when faced with this opening, years ago. You know, he's a Caro-Kann French player. He did also play bishop f5. And I looked at it, but it's not that convincing. Like, bishop f5 is okay for black, but it's not like refuting the... It doesn't refute the black Mardimer outright. Now what? h4 and g5. Or am I supposed to play g5 right away, actually? h4, pawn takes pawn. h5, bishop e4. What's up with that? h4, pawn takes pawn. Okay, I don't remember that being part of the program. h4, pawn takes pawn. I think I'm just supposed to play g5. I can't recall. I think this is probably the Saruwan game. The Saruwan game. I mean, the only player that I can recall having to like play this like over 2650 with black pieces. I've never played this position in my life. I only looked at it like from black's perspective once, thinking, okay, maybe this is an interesting way for black to handle the black Mardimer, but I wasn't overly convinced after looking at with the engine. It looks like a game. I mean, it's just like, you know, you're not at material. Black is not clearly better, or white is not clearly better. I mean, it's just a position. I guess for Saruwan, like he liked the Caro-Kann aspect of the structure or something, but objectively, like, white and black are approximately equal here. Though I have no clue what I'm supposed to do next. Okay, c3 looks like a reasonable move. I hope. Just solidifying d4, maybe giving my queen squares. His knight is strong on d5. True. Complicated. If h6, queen b3. Wow. c5. Whoa. That is a seriously combative move. I have no idea. Alright, I'm going to take the pawn. It's a dark squared bishop. Worst case scenario, it's probably equal. I really don't know what else to do. It's like an advanced Caro-Kann, or looks like something like that. Guys, this is the last game for the stream today, I think. Thanks, Soltiga, for coming in, moderating. Thanks, you guys, for watching. This is what I figured now. I mean, his idea isn't only about, like, winning the pawn back, but he's also looking at, like, kind of dark squares. I mean, black has more pieces than white as far as development goes. h4 is no good anymore. And he's starting to win his pawn back. Maybe something like bishop b5 check, just developing a piece. He could even move his king, potentially. I wonder if my move is just really bad. I mean, he's going to gain a tempo. Well, what's he going to do, actually? Wow, king e7. Okay. So that becomes pretty tactical. Now I was thinking queen d4. But I also have to think about my development. This looks kind of dangerous for me. Wow. I'm starting to have hallucinations. My king is unsafe. I don't know, I have bad feelings about this. It looks dangerous for me. My development is really, really slow. Okay, is there a threat? I want to fix my development, complete my development. He doesn't seem to have a concrete threat, so I can go here. I mean, e5, fine, he can play e5. We'll move our queen again. I guess queen c4. e5, queen c4, a6, bishop a4. Knight b6. That's a problem. Okay, queen f2. I have to go to f2. It's okay, I guess. Now he's trying to get his pawn back. What about b3? The biggest problem is that my king is unsafe. Just going to try to develop my pieces with bishop a3. I guess I'll have to castle kingside. But I don't like this. I feel like black is better strategically. I'm not sure he did the right thing with queen takes c5, though. I can take on d7, takes on d4. Well, he's certainly, yeah, he's still not worse even there. He could even take back with the king, so I guess it's fine for black. All right. My bishop on b5 is a problem. Wow. Knight d4. There's no other square for my knight. I need to get rid of my bad bishop. Needs to be able to retreat or something. Actually, he's got knight c3 in some positions. Whew, this could be a problem. Wow, rook c8. Wow. What am I doing here? About to lose on time. Played a little too fast. I'm not sure what's going on here objectively. It gave me this one chance. All of black's pieces very harmoniously developed, but got the capture here. And then I guess bishop c4. Bishop b7 doesn't look right. He can take this pawn back, but I have a very dangerous A pawn. That should give me the edge. Okay, materials equal. I'm not sure though. I have a dangerous pawn, but his pieces are pretty harmonious. I guess I could just put my king on f2 and put it on g3. On a dark square, it's fairly safe. Or I could castle kingside. Last game for today, guys. We'll be back tomorrow in the evening, 6 p.m. Remember, it's early for the subscriber stream. Problem is, his position is pretty solid. His position is pretty solid. I don't know what to do. Well, I did not see this. Okay, I have no clue what to do here. I'm giving up my bishop. Not optimal. I guess we're slightly better. But it's still not winning, probably. I don't know what to do. All right. Trying to be as safe as I can without giving up all winning chances. I'm sure that I had better, but I'm so pressed on time. Outside pawn in the bishop's endgame is usually very strong. But I think here I need to play on both sides of the board to have a chance to win. So he's got the good blockader, potentially. Alright, let's activate our rook. I'm not sure if this was even a good move. He doesn't have rook d5. He doesn't have any entry points. I guess I play something like h4. Blundered bishop a6. I guess it's a win. You can take the pawn on a5. It's probably winning for white. I don't know, man. This looked like a really good position for black earlier. I was better in the endgame, like clearly better with the two bishops, but still it's not winning. I mean, I don't think it's clearly winning. But before that, out of the opening, it looked like I was in deep trouble until I landed knight c6 check. So here black is better, it looks like. Around this point, it was like unclear. Queen d4, I don't know. It was like the best move. Rook d8 is the best move, probably. And I didn't know what to do. Knight e2, knight d7. Apparently I'm supposed to take on d7 and take on g7, but I was scared of that. Like my king is kind of open. That's surprising a little bit. That was the best, apparently. After this, he has knight takes c3. Ouch, that actually works. What is the deal with that? Knight takes c3, knight c6 check, b takes c, bishop takes c5 check, king e8, and now some bishop moves. So it's like the game, but I'm down a pawn instead of being up a pawn. Not overly impressive. No, that's much stronger. Anyway, like, weird opening. Yeah, it's hard to say, though. I mean, let's see where the theory ended. Well, apparently, like, wow, so this is a new position. Am I supposed to play h4 here? No, g5. I don't see the Sarawan game I was talking about. That's odd. It's very odd. I mean, maybe Sarawan's opponent took on e4. I guess this is the main line. Okay. I don't see the game either there. This is another line. Okay. Weird. So I don't know. G4 is best according to the engine. Now bishop G6. Now G5. And now knight D5. I'm supposed to play bishop G2. That's a strange move. This would be a TN. And now C5. I thought this was an amazing move coming up here. I guess C3 is too slow for white. H4 is interesting. That's obviously normal, kind of. Apparently that might be the best. But knight E2 developing a piece. This I thought was safe, but he's got the C5. That is an amazing move. And after that, this is apparently like a blunder. So maybe even D takes C5, I don't know. Is this better? Probably better to take with a pawn. Keep the strong knight on E4. It's the centerpiece of my position. Anyway, good game, man. Interesting stuff, if nothing else. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back tomorrow night with a subscriber stream with game analysis and blitz here at lichess. International Master William Paschall. We will be here 6 p.m. CET tomorrow. So not the normal time of 7, but 6 p.m. It's an hour earlier starting for my Thursday night stream. Anyway, Soltigo, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for the game, Skaveningen. It looked like, you know, at least we got some semi-theoretical Blackmar Deemer, you know, to play here. So that was instructive and something we might be able to use in the future, at least the black pieces. I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And thanks, Soltigo, for moderating. Good stream, guys. Later. Bye-bye.